Before we start, if you value calm, rational conversations about money, the kind that make you think instead of react, consider subscribing. Now, let's talk about something uncomfortable. Have you ever looked at your bank account and thought, I make decent money, my bills are paid, so why does this still feel fragile? On paper, everything looks fine, but emotionally, it doesn't feel fine. That tension is what we're breaking down today, because there's a big difference between numbers that look stable and a life that actually is. Let's imagine a very normal scenario. You're 29, you live in Chicago, or Manchester, or Berlin. You're not struggling, but you're not carefree either. You make $82,000 a year in the US, or 62,000 euros in Western Europe. After taxes, health insurance, social contributions, you're taking home around $4,800 per month or 3,700 euros per month. Respectable. Now let's quietly subtract the reality. Rent or mortgage, $1,900. Car payment or lease, $480. Insurance, $180. Utilities plus internet, $250. Groceries, $600. Student loan, $350. Subscriptions, gym, phone, $200. Eating out, social life, $500. Minimum credit card payment, $220. You're left with maybe $1,200, which sounds fine until you remember you haven't saved for retirement this month. You haven't built a serious emergency fund. You haven't replaced your laptop. You haven't paid for that upcoming wedding trip. And you definitely haven't handled a medical surprise. Suddenly, that $1,200 isn't freedom, it's a buffer, a thin one. This is the quiet gap between financially okay and financially resilient. And most middle-class professionals are living right in it. The hidden financial mistake isn't overspending, it's mistaking income stability for life stability. You think because your job is stable, your situation is stable, but your life isn't built on income, it's built on margin. Margin is what protects you. Let's run simple math. If your monthly core expenses are $3,600 and you lose your job tomorrow, how long do you last? 3 months? 4? Most people with good salaries last less than 6 months. Not because they're irresponsible, but because their lifestyle scaled exactly with their income. When income goes up, fixed costs quietly rise too. Better apartment, newer car, upgraded phone plan, more dinners out. Travel becomes expected. Nothing extreme, nothing reckless, just upgraded normal. The problem is that fixed costs don't shrink when income disappears. Now let's talk psychology. Why does this happen to intelligent people? Because humans anchor to lifestyle faster than they anchor to savings. The first time you move into a nicer apartment, it feels expensive. 6 months later, it feels standard. The first time you lease a new car, it feels indulgent. 1 year later, it feels necessary. This is called lifestyle adaptation. Your brain recalibrates your baseline faster than your savings can compound. So your nervous system relaxes while your financial structure becomes more rigid. You feel stable because your income is consistent, but your fixed obligations are rising, and fixed obligations are what create fragility. There's also a quiet problem. Most people optimize for monthly comfort, not long-term durability. Let's compare two individuals. Both make $85,000. Person A spends $4,500 per month and saves $300. Person B spends $3,800 per month and saves $1,000. After 1 year, Person A has $3,600 saved. Person B has $12,000 saved. After 5 years, assuming modest investment growth, Person A maybe has $20,000. Person B could have $70,000 plus. Same income, different margin. Now imagine a recession hits. Person A panics in month 2. Person B negotiates calmly. That's the difference. Financial fragility isn't about whether your bills are paid. It's about whether you have options. There's also a structural issue in modern Western economies. We are encouraged to spend like stable professionals while working in increasingly unstable systems. Corporate layoffs are normal now. Contract work is rising. Healthcare costs are unpredictable in the US. Energy prices fluctuate in Europe. Yet culturally, you're expected to upgrade apartments in your 30s, drive something respectable, attend destination weddings, travel visibly. The system pushes visible success, but resilience is invisible. Nobody compliments your emergency fund. Nobody sees your low fixed costs. So people unconsciously optimize for visible stability, not structural stability. Let's talk about the math of fragility. If your fixed monthly expenses are $4,000 and you need 6 months of survival, you need $24,000 liquid, not invested in crypto, not in retirement accounts, not tied up in furniture, liquid. Most professionals earning $70,000 to $100,000 don't have that. That's not a moral failure, it's a margin problem. They are stable until something interrupts the flow, and modern life interrupts flows more often than we admit. There's also a psychological problem of debt. Credit cards create the illusion of backup. You could always put it on the card, but that's not a buffer, that's delayed stress. If you carry $6,000 at 22% interest, that's about $1,300 per year in interest alone. You're paying over $100 per month just for past consumption. That interest reduces future margin. And margin is your shock absorber. When your shock absorber weakens, every bump feels bigger. That's why small financial surprises feel emotionally overwhelming, even when income is good, because the structure underneath is tight. Now here's the shift. Financially intelligent people don't think in terms of income, they think in terms of fragility exposure. They ask, if my income stopped for 6 months, would my life survive? If my rent increased 15%, would I need to panic? If my car died tomorrow, would I use savings or debt? They don't optimize for how life looks this year. They optimize for how life holds up during disruption. And that mindset changes behavior quietly. They delay lifestyle upgrades longer than peers. They increase savings before increasing fixed costs. They treat raises as margin expansion, not lifestyle expansion. If they get a $500 monthly raise, they don't immediately add a $450 expense. They widen the gap. That widening gap becomes calm. Notice something important. This is not about extreme frugality. It's not about living like a student forever. It's about keeping fixed costs slightly behind income growth. That slightly matters because fixed costs are commitments, savings are choices. Commitments create fragility, choices create flexibility. Let's zoom out long term. If you operate with thin margins for 10 years, you may look successful. Nice home, good car, European holidays, but you'll constantly feel low-level tension because your system requires continuous income to function. One disruption and everything tightens. Now imagine the opposite. You slowly build 12 months of expenses saved, low consumer debt, investments growing steadily, fixed costs below 60% of your take-home income. Nothing flashy, but structurally solid. You don't feel rich, you feel steady, and steady is underrated. Steady means you can leave a bad job, you can survive a recession, you can help family without destabilizing yourself, you can say no to financial pressure. That's real stability, not a salary number. So if your situation feels fragile even when the numbers look fine, it's probably because your income is carrying your lifestyle instead of your assets carrying your risk. Paper security is when the spreadsheet balances. Actual security is when disruption doesn't scare you. And most people only discover the difference when something goes wrong. You don't need to overhaul your life tomorrow. You just need to start measuring stability differently, not by what you earn, but by how long you'd be okay if you stopped earning. That single question reframes everything. This isn't about fear, it's about clarity. If you quietly increase margin year after year, you won't look dramatically different from your peers, but when volatility hits, and it always does, you'll move differently. Calmly. That's the goal. If this kind of measured, reality-based thinking helps you see money more clearly, you can subscribe. That's all. I'll see you in the next one.